everybody. We're so excited to have this conversation. Um, Sadly, the fabulous Angela Hollowell is unable to join us this evening for this conversation, but um, I'm sure that
Y'all are
we
stuck with
will,
me.
whatever. We're gonna have a good conversation. Oh, that's exciting, Sabrina. You're gonna like it. We're funny. I think. I think we're funny. Are we funny? We're funny.
We have our moments.
Uh, so I'm gonna have Corey introduce
Introduce
himself
himself.
first. Haha. Hi,
I'm going
Nicole.
first today. You ready?
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Corey Gums. I am the founder of the Black Podcasters Association, as well as founder of blackpodnews.com, which is a Substack newsletter right here on Substack. So that's a little redundant, but that's what I do. The newsletter is basically to highlight, to bring information about what's going on in the Black podcast space. So you can check us out. We have a lot of dope content and a lot of content coming up in 2026 that I'm excited about as well. But that's who I am, and I'm happy to be here and see everyone in the chat. So, make sure you tell us where you're at, where you're from in the chat.
Oh, why is my internet being unstable, guys? So hi everyone. My name is Michelle Jackson. I run a project called Creators Getting Paid, where I speak to different content creators about how they are monetizing their digital facing brands. Typically about 80% of 80% of the people I speak to are black or brown. With about 20% allies. And basically, the people I talk to would never end up on Rogan. I'm excited to see all of the people who are in here. By the way, I do want to introduce our third co host, Angela Hollowell, who is away tonight. She is the founder of Please Hustle Responsibly and Melanin MVP, which is a space for Black women who are fans of sports or who participate in sports. So I do hope you check it out and support that project. So today, High Notary Scientist Bomb, today we're going to be talking about what it's like to monetize newsletters. Like what is like what it's like. Hi Michael. Um and I feel like before we get into the conversation, I'm going to ask a couple of questions of the fabulous folks who are joining us this evening. So the first question is, do you have a newsletter? Yes or no? Like if you could share that in the chat. Do you have a newsletter? So let us know, yes or no. And then I will ask a second question. Sabrina does. Hey, Lauren, how are you? So let's see. Brotherhood Dance. Ooh, I like anything with dance, so I'm excited about that. Lauren does. She has a newsletter. Shamiko does not. Michael does. Um, let's see. Constance does not. I am curious as to how you found your way to hang out with us today. Are you thinking about starting a newsletter? Hey, Nolan. So the second question I'm going to ask is, have you tried monetizing, making money with your newsletter? And so if you guys could add a yes or no in the chat, I think it would be interesting. I have monetized my newsletter. Hey, Eric. What about you? I mean, clearly the answer for Corey would be yes, but we're gonna get into it. So Lauren has monetized her newsletter. Sabrina has not. Um, and I think that will lead me to the third question, which I feel like will resonate with people. Sabrina, I'm gonna put you on the spot, but in a very gentle way. Michael has done memberships. Sabrina, what has kept you from monetizing? So feel free to share, like maybe it's not like the time, etc. Let's see. Oh, I love that. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's exciting. We need to know how people are finding us, so thank you, Shamiko, for sharing that. Hey, TC Presents. So, um, Corey, what has it been like for you? Like, why did you ever monetize your newsletter? Like, what happened for you to be like, you know what, I'm going to monetize? Or like, what was the story? Is there a background story around monetizing your newsletter? I'm nosy. And also, that's this
Yeah, I want to
conversation.
make money.
But
I
no,
just
for real. Like, what would, like, what happened? Did you wake up one day and you're like, oh, I think I should monetize? Or were you watching like other creators do it? Like, how did it happen?
no, I was getting for about 2 years. I had Rob Dunwood to
Did you
yeah
see
yeah.
Lauren's message?
I got bullied. Yeah, I definitely got bullied.
Girl,
I was just about
why
to
are you
say,
like this, Lauren?
Lord, I was just about to say how I got bullied. For almost 2 years, Rob Dunwood was like, "You got where's your newsletter? Where's the newsletter for the VPA? Where's the newsletter? Where's the newsletter?" And I never just I didn't know how to I didn't know what kind of content I wanted to create with the newsletters, or I didn't really know what I was doing. So I was always being like stagnant, or just being avoiding, and then I think for me, when I do things, I need a purpose, right? So like even with the monetization, it has to have a purpose. And ideally, I found that's why we turned into Black Pod News. Somebody was like they were trying to get I've told the story plenty of times, try to get a article published somewhere, they got to reject it, and I was like, well, let me create a platform where you don't have to. When for Black people, when they want to put out content, they don't need to be rejected. I want you to send your stuff to me. I want to publish it. The monetization part took a little while, but when I started asking people to contribute and people were coming to me asking how they could contribute, um, I was like, one of the things I try to do in the podcast industry, because a lot of it is, and it reminded me of my time in the music industry, was it's a lot of people like making promises because they don't have the money, right?
Mhm.
And that part too, the purpose of not getting ragged off for another year. You know, uh, that is true. That is true.
Right.
But for the monetization part was I can't. I just wanted to put money in people's pockets. Also, like I wanted to pay people for contributing, pay people for being a part of it. May not have been a lot of money, but do something. In some way, try to compensate them for their time and energy. Um, for the work they're doing for me. But I make the promise, so I'm giving you my platform of almost 5,000 subscribers to get in front of and build your brand and all that stuff. But I think for me, there's also the side of the business in the podcasting industry where people who are doing these types of things should be compensated. I, I, I don't have a lot of money to pay people, but I try to at least do it in that capacity. So my goal right now for monetization is to just build enough revenue. I also realized that when I started this project, I'm building another company,
Mm.
ideally. So it's like, how do we create revenue streams so that I can actually hire people to do the work that I want them to do on the newsletter, whether it's
I have a
virtual
different
assistants
question.
or contributors.
So, like, you answered this with a very like external focus around like other people, what their needs are, etc. But what about you? Like, how does newsletter monetization factor into your income and revenue? Does it like to do these projects, to work on these newsletters, we spend quite a bit of time curating it. So how do we make it make sense? Like short term and long term. What do you think?
For me, well, for me, I'm playing the long game with all the stuff that I'm
Mhm,
doing.
mhm,
I look at if I have enough money coming in to pay people, that means I have enough money to pay myself. That's how I look
mm,
at it. So,
okay.
um, so yes, ideally, if we get we get to if I well, I'm at a certain point. I should say if I get to a certain point. But when you get to a certain point, it's like, okay, now it's time for me to start asking for more money, right? Like
Mhm,
the platform is bigger. It has more impact than it did when I first started. So
mhm,
I'm looking at it from like a company point of view, of like just creating a revenue stream, hire your team so that you can make it bigger, so you can bring in more revenue. Um, which to some people might sound crazy but I'm not trying to scale too fast. So like um, if if I'm paying contributors to put out quality content, then that means that we're going to get more people subscribing. We're going to be in front of more eyes. It'll be stronger arguments for a stronger pitch for sponsorship, ad revenue, and stuff like that. For me personally, you know, I'm always going to make sure I'm getting my piece of that pie
Mm,
as I'm building it. So that, like I said, as long as people are getting paid for doing what I'm doing, that means I'm getting paid as well.
I love that answer. I'm gonna kinda, share my experience with monetizing a newsletter, like, the first real experience. So, I have a romance pen name. Corey in particular likes to tease me a little bit
We'll
about this
find
because
out.
I won't tell him what it's called. But anyway, actually, I'm very excited because I have a new book, that I'm about to start writing, and I'm freaking excited about it. Anyway, so for that romance pen name, in the romance, like, space, I observed that people were really, like, focused on growing their newsletters, and I was like, "Huh, like, I should do that too." Like, I just didn't overthink it. It wasn't my primary project, by the way. I had a different brand that was front facing. I was the face of the brand, had nothing to do with romance. This was, like, just this little fun thing I was dabbling with. And so I started growing that list, and I learned a couple things, which was, how to email my community, like the people who thank you, Sabrina, the people who were buying my books and, like, um, opting into the list. They were so interesting. Like, I would hit enter, the newsletter would go out, and, like, within 20, 30 seconds, people from all over the world would be talking to my romance pen name and being like, "Hey, this is what's going on in South Africa, blah, blah, blah." Like, we would have this very natural conversation. They had no idea what I looked like. They knew I was in Colorado because I did disclose that in my newsletters. I would share, photos of, like, the state and, like, my shenanigans, but I never shared who I was or my actual name. And during COVID in particular, um, one, I just noticed that the sales of my books just increased because I could share my books. And then during COVID, I was living off of a lot of the money I lived off was from that. Like I didn't need money from the government, even though I was like, thanks because I pay taxes. But, I didn't need it in the way that a lot of people did because I had this income that was coming in and I could really like, um, attribute a lot of that from having that email list and learning how to communicate with the community. The other experience with newsletters that I had was prior to that romance newsletter. It was years before um, in the personal finance space. So I started the personal finance space. A lot of those people moved from personal finance to business, like business creators. So a lot of the people that you probably follow now, those people were the people that I watched or knew or was in community with in some sort of way years ago in the personal finance community. We all went to a lot of us to the FinCon conference, and so what I observed those people to be doing was they would be growing lists. Like that was the thing they did all the time. Everything led to their list. And I was in a small mastermind with 10 amazing people, including Talit and Ty. I feel like their last name is McNeely. They're so sweet. And Ty in particular was because it was primarily women were in this group. But then there were these other creators, white creators, for those of you who are there, that I watched what they were doing. And one of the girls in particular had only 20 hours a week. Like she had kids, small ones, and she's like, "This is all the time I got." And all she did was grow her list. Like this was all she did. Why I didn't quite get the lesson that she was showing us and sharing at the time. I feel like sometimes you understand the message at the time that you can receive it, but literally this woman that I know, her one of them in particular, a couple of them, they've made so much money because they had these crazy lists that they just focused on. At the time, Pinterest was huge, so they were able to really, like, scale the opt-ins because of Pinterest, because personal finance content at that time did really well on that platform. I'm sure it's about to pop off again, quite frankly, as the economy is interesting. We'll just say it like that. But those are the kind of things that I watched and observed, and I don't know why I was just so slow to build my other list for my primary project, and why it wasn't a primary area of focus. I think partly because it wasn't the right project in retrospect. Like, it feels very seamless to do it now. Um, I think for the other project, I just couldn't see like the purpose, to your point, Corey, of having the list for that project. But now when I look at like email list building is done by both bricks and mortar and online businesses, and it's just a foundational piece to a brand, like a healthy brand. It's really changed my perspective on why I need to have a list. So I'll give examples of lists that you guys may not even considered our newsletter esque ish list. Um, Starbucks app. Starbucks has this massive, massive, massive app where its consumers, its customers have opted into the app. They have all this data on what they like to drink, the price points, average price points, what they'll add to their orders, what they won't be doing, where they're purchasing, like if they're on vacation, like it's basically that's a list. Target, even though I broke up with Target, they have lists, you know, with the red card and all the, their website actually, because um, on, I used to be a huge like Target girly, and I would go into my profile, which was basically a list, and I would look at all the different products and be like, "Ooh, I can't wait to like go to Target and like black out and spend hundreds of dollars and da da da." And in retrospect, I'm like, those people have built out this massive list. Guess what? One of the first things I did at the beginning of the year was I took myself off the list. It wasn't just that I stopped going. It was I am not on their list anymore. So they have learned a lot from my behavior, which is I haven't been there since January. Anywho, but that's not this conversation. So monetizing my project and list building, I just have had a very different perspective of why it's important, why newsletter building is important, especially specific to having control of your platform and monetization. This week we watched Rachel Rogers um, run a successful Kickstarter campaign. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Rachel Rogers, she is a well-known content creator, entrepreneur, and basically the entrepreneur space. She runs a project, a community called Hello Seven, and she wanted to create a new television series, but it's like travel and entrepreneurship is how I'm perceiving it to be. Please correct me if you have more data or information about the show. And in order to pay for the show, she launched a Kickstarter with the goal of raising $155,000. She has raised about $173,000. So she met her goal. But a lot of like the reason why I believe she was able to do that is she has a list. It wasn't like she was just spitting out in the air and hoping that someone would buy. She had people, she's been nurturing conversations with these folks for years, probably. And so she probably at the back end of her business has an idea of what they've spent on, what the average price point has been, et cetera, et cetera. Her conversion rates, like the percentage of people who will say yes to a thing. And so it's been really interesting watching her reach that goal. Angela and I were like just like uh
No,
messaging each other, and
no,
poor
geeking out
Corey,
over it.
yeah, we were geeking out about it. We're like, "Okay, how much is she at now?" And so poor Corey's like, "Oh god." And we were just, like, really invested in her meeting that goal. I'm gonna read some of the comments, by the way. Um, So Lauren's saying growing that list is super important because it helps to bring the money in. Yes, I am an advocate, Lauren, of doing that. Stephanie, hey Stephanie, she's saying that speaking of Target, Starbucks workers are going on strike. Oh yeah, like I don't really go to Starbucks anymore, so that's okay. Sabrina, Rachel is relentless with the marketing. She is. I'm on her list. I hear from her all the time. Her email list does not quit. She's an inspiration. Um, I don't know who that is. She used somebody's crowdfund checklist, but I don't know who. Um, I'll figure out who that is. Yes. So I talk about newsletters a lot because or like list building because I think it's a underutilized tool. And that it could be really impactful when done well. What do you think, Corey?
I mean, my lessons learned from building a list. You know what? We talked earlier about why I got into it. I remember. I also remember when a couple years ago when Facebook went down,
Mm.
and I had a live schedule for that day, and I was
Oh, in
panicking
September. I remember that.
this year, and I remember we had a live schedule for that day, and I relied solely on Facebook, and I didn't have any way to communicate with our Facebook group outside of Facebook. So I think that was the catalyst also for me realizing I needed some other way to keep in touch with the community I was building, outside of being, t- dedicated to, one of these platforms, because as we saw, it went down. And like recently things have gone down and people were panicking about their businesses. And, so I realized you can't rely solely on one platform as a form of communication, staying in communication with your audience. So for me, I also look at my list as that, it's an asset. It's like, this is like the lifeblood. Like this is how you communicate directly without having to focus, to rely on anybody else. I could always take that list and go to a different email company, or like, if, I could upload the contacts of my Gmail, which would be entirely crazy, but that's what you used to do back in the days, if I
Right.
really needed to communicate. So I think personally, I think if you're trying to, even if you just have an audience, you should, like, even if it's like a podcaster, you should try to be actively building a list just so you can keep in contact with your audience, outside of the platforms that you're currently using in your workflow. Companies come and go, they fail. Sometimes you don't know they failed. Like, when I was doing real estate investing during the bubble, and I woke up one morning, Countrywide was going under. That's a pit in your stomach. You don't want to, you don't want to have, right? That's just crazy. So, that's where I'm coming from with that.
Mhm.
Uh, and then, watching, and I just want to say for Rachel Rogers, you know, um, Queens gets the money because she's from Queens, and she's also from my alma mater high school. So I just wanted to put that
Ah!
out there. So, so it's not some crowd from Queens out there. But watching you guys talk about her this week, because we were kind of like guessing whether she was going to meet the mark, and then,
Right.
like you were saying, I think that list, came in extremely handy in the long at the end, towards the end of her drive, and she went above and beyond what she was trying to get. So,
Mhm.
um, should have listened to Rob years ago. That's what I'm gonna say.
Um, it's been interesting. So here's the thing. We're on a platform that is, for me, really evolving beyond the initial premise, which is newsletter building. I don't necessarily want to speak to Substack in this conversation. I feel like to be as candid as I want to be, I would have to be off platform. And that's why I do a lot of like content around like Substack or Beehive or ConvertKit or these other platforms. I typically like to be off of any of those platforms when I make critiques. But one of the things that I've been really thinking about, I want to talk basically about strategy. Um, these two, Angela and Corey, know that I've been like going through it figuring out the tools that I want to use for my business and like what are the different things that I want to do. And I think it's one thing to have a list. I think it's another to sell to your list in a way that feels comfortable for you, isn't, I think, too aggressive for your personality, and have it make sense because it's not cheap necessarily to have a list. It has to. It's like if you have a list, and you're not making money off the list, that's fine. But you have to figure out where the money is coming from somewhere else. It doesn't make sense to me that you wouldn't sell to your list, but I do want to say that for some people, philosophically, they feel nervous about it still in 2025. And I think that sometimes how you feel personally about receiving newsletters can really influence what you do. But as a business person, it's like a different calculation or a person who's, if you are trying to grow a community of people, not even a business person, if you're trying to grow a community of people who are underserved in some sort of way in this current atmosphere, you need a list because you can't even guarantee that you're going to be on any of these platforms if the content you're doing or if the space that you're growing is considered subversive in some sort of way. You have to be able to communicate with your people somewhere else. And I hate to like bring that up, but I do think it's very important to consider. It's not always about money; it's about community and being able to communicate uh, like like without any kind of issue. To your point, with the Facebook going down, the Facebook with Facebook going down, and you're trying to do something, and you're just like, oh shit, what am I going to do?
Right. Yeah.
You know.
I think, I think the hesitation for me starting up on a list or a newsletter at the time when I was encouraged to do so, that was part of it was the aspect of how I respond to newsletters, right? I hate the newsletters that are constantly just pounding you, pounding you, pounding you for sales. And it's like, all right, yo, like if I was going to do it, I would have done it already. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I look at it. So anything I do, I always try to go do differently than what I don't like.
Mm,
So, and it was like, well, in my mind, I was like, this was the only way you could do it was how you saw people doing it. And I didn't like
mm,
that. I'm glad you brought that point up because that was, if I'm being honest, that was one of the struggles I was having to get over with starting a list was like, I don't want to sit here and write newsletters 2, 3 times a day, every
yeah.
day of the week, just begging people to buy my product, or to join the BPA or do whatever it is I want them to do. And I didn't understand my voice back then in regards to what I was building and what I was doing. So I had to go through this journey of, of being bullied into this because I think that's important. Like when you're thinking of your list, you got to also think of like what is your voice, what is the brand that you want to portray, and then if you put it out there, you got to protect it because you could build this whole this very engaged list that's there because you built it one way, and then and this is the problem when people start making money, they start making some money, and they be like, well, you know, maybe I should start going this way, and then you just froze your whole entire list because they were there for one specific, or whatever specific thing that you built, and now you
Mm,
might be deviating, and which is something I'm thinking about now is like, as I text you, I'm about to pick up writing my course again. Um, Now that I got some things off my plate, like I can concentrate on it over the next couple of weeks, and I was like, do I? I'm probably going to start building a separate list just for that specifically versus keep
mhm,
clouding what I already have. Now I might collaborate between the two, but I think I need to have my own separate list for my personal brand versus
mm,
the BPA and Black Pod News. What I might do, and this is something if you have and I always tell podcasters this, like if you want to sell ads on your podcast, promote your business on your podcast until some. And I remember I was faking it on the newsletter. I was faking ad space. I was just picking random people from my group and giving them ad space for free until people started being like, "Oh, how much does it cost for me to advertise on the newsletter?" And I was like, "Well, my personal list will buy some space on Black Pod News as I send it out, and hopefully some of those ads will help me build my list and do it that way until I can get it to a certain point where it can build on its own. So that's how I'm kind of looking at it. I'm trying to figure out the strategy I want to do with it. Hopefully this weekend I'll be able to sit down and spend some time really combing through it and testing some things out.
What what would you consider success as it relates to, like, monetizing your list? Like, what success look like? And before you answer, Shamika's reminding people to have a copy of your list because she had a list on Mailchimp, excuse me, which honestly, not a fan of Mailchimp, because they have always had unusual terms of service specific to actually being able to use the list to sell. So nothing about this surprises me that this happened because I don't know, they're weird. So always make sure that you have your list accessible to you in some sort of way. So what success sound like to you? Like how does it
I'm gonna
feel?
answer your question, but you know what I do? I download my lists from Substack like once a month, usually towards the end of the month. So when people unsubscribe, whatever, I have the most updated list. Um, and then I have an account with SendFox. I just upload it to SendFox as my backup, like just in case anything ever happens. SendFox is my backup platform to send out newsletters and stuff on. Um, so I got a ton of, actually, thank you, Shamika. That reminds me, I got to go through my folder and clean out some of these CSV files that I downloaded because it's getting a little out of control. Um, but what is success for me? Success for me right now with my newsletter is it has enough income coming in that I can quit my job and my rent is paid. That's how I look at it
Mm.
right now. But I mean,
How many people would that be? What do you think?
I don't. I'll be honest about this conversation. I don't know yet. I never really sat
All
down
right.
with it. I'm just like, we got X amount of money coming in a month on this newsletter. It needs to reach, it needs to reach this point in order for me to be like, all right, this now I can just because I know if I could free up my time, I'll be able to concentrate on it. It's that conundrum where it's like, you need the job to pay the rent because the revenue is not coming in consistently,
Mm.
but you need to quit the job so that you can create the revenue to come in consistently.
Woo!
So, but success for me with Black Pod News would be, honestly for me would be that we are an institution. It's an institution in the podcast industry. Um,
Mhm.
I do get when I meet people and know that it's my list. I do get feedback like how much they use it as a resource, but I want it to be like the resource for Black content, Black business in the podcasting space. So that's success for me. And that's the long game. I'm not even thinking about revenue. Again, if the revenue stream would be that I can actually hire staff to help me run it. So I don't know what that looks like because I haven't gotten to that point yet. Um, but
Do you see the end of do you see the end of the tunnel? Like, do you feel like you're closer to this, like, ephemeral goal than you were before you had your list? Like, can you see
oh yeah,
how
yeah,
this could get you there?
yeah. There's no ever end. With me, with anything I do, there's really no ever end to the tunnel. Um,
Uh-huh.
because that's just the way my brain works. Like it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, we can keep like how can I make this bigger? How can I make it better?
Mhm.
And I don't have an exit strategy out of this because I'm like this is something that's going to take some time to build. Like like newspapers, like any type of media content. What's up, Angela?
Is
Um,
Angela do you
are
wanna
you
just listen or you wanna join?
um So for me, the success with the newsletter is different. With the course, the newsletter would be that it's being used to help me generate another revenue stream and
Mhm.
income of the course and any additional things that may come out of that course and products and services that I may offer for my personal
Let's
line.
get her in.
What you mean up to
I
us
actually, this is
guys?
perfect timing. This is perfect timing,
What you mean
because
Angela's up to us? You can
what?
get your butt in here.
Add her, yes. This is perfect, actually. That's right, Michael. This is perfect timing because I feel like this next part of the conversation is really, really, really important. So, uh, Myself, Corey, and Angela spent
Mhm.
most I wanna say we've spent yes, we have spent
Not
months
breathe.
up, uh, uh, uh,
Y'all are crazy, bro.
uh, we have spent months like, "Hey, we stay ready, all right?" Um, we have spent all of us collectively months and months and months building out products. We're still, I would say not even at the tail end, but we're still building out some additional products, goods or services or all 3, right? And so I think that piece factors in very heavily in the newsletter conversation. Everyone, this is Angela, who we introduced. But Angela, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Angela, otherwise known as the person who was in the middle of eating kava before coming on this live stream.
Uh,
So,
if
all
she goes
right,
off camera, we know what's going on.
quite literally gonna have to keep eating this, but yeah, no, I write Please Hustle Responsibly. Oh, that's the first time I've ever seen that notification from
Yeah.
not Deacon Hollowell. What are we doing, guys? What church service did I
Stephanie.
just walk into?
Oh,
What's happening? But at least it sounds like they were spreading the gospel. So I'm happy to be here. I write newsletters. You can find them on Substack. How you guys doing, man?
so there are several people in here who have newsletters. There's several who don't. And we are talking about just what it's been like to monetize our newsletters and what success looks like. And I feel like it'd be interesting to hear like what does success look like for you? But I do think like once we hear that answer, we all need to talk about um why we have been developing products, goods, and services as they relate to our community and the list that we have. So, Angela, boop, boop.
Yeah. Um, sure. Um, Creating products in general, honestly, at first was very scary. Um, but then as I like gave myself a deadline to put out Community OS, I realized like the worst that can happen is someone cannot buy it. It doesn't mean that the information isn't valuable. It doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm talking about. It just means that I need to work on messaging. Maybe it means that I need to work on marketing. But ultimately, like it if we're looking at best case scenario and a bunch of people buy it, it's like, wow, I'm creating this revenue stream that allows me to keep my newsletter free. It allows me to continue writing and continue doing the thing that I love to do and help as many people as possible. So I think like ultimately pushing past that imposter syndrome was like really important. And understanding like, no, people are on my newsletter because they value what I have to say. And I'm creating something because I think it'll be a value add, not like a cash grab.
Noise.
Yeah, that too. Like, and I think, again, like there's a bunch of newsletter bros that are just like, start a list, sell your list something, make a ton of money. And I'm like, yes, but also like, I got to be able to sleep at night. I got to be able to know that like I've made something that hopefully my audience and community actually wanted. And hopefully that gives me the opportunity to continue doing what I love. Like my best phrase about being a creative entrepreneur is that when you sell something, it just gives you the opportunity to do more of that thing. So hopefully I'm doing things that I want to do more of. I want to do more writing. I want to do more paid writing. And we actually tossed around an idea I have for a print version of the newsletter, and some limited edition stuff. So hopefully I just keep getting the opportunity to do that. I think that's the whole goal. You had a follow-up question, but I'm forgetting. I haven't eaten, so
I you eat. I feel like you know what? I'm gonna ask a different question, which is paywalls and subscriptions for your newsletter. Like, are you currently either of you? Do either one of you, excuse me, have like a paywall or a subscription tier? Like, just kind of share what it's like to monetize your newsletter in that way or not, and kind of your rationale.
You want me to go first?
Oh my God, Stephanie totally confirming what I was saying about melanin MVP. Anyway,
Every time,
Kelly,
girl.
I love that
Every time.
project so much.
So for me, for the longest, I was planning on paywalling Black Pod News content, and you know, I was working on I'm actually working on a podcast that's gonna go, or a live interview show that's gonna go along. That's gonna be coming out with it for one of our segments on Black Pod News. Me and Walter Gaynor are working on our Hire Me uh pod, podcast slash live show um for it. And at first, initially, I was, before this administration came into play, and just looking at the industry and what's going on, I was originally going to paywall stuff. So the dilemma I had with the paywall was, do we have enough sufficient content that's of value to make people want to pay to access things behind the paywall? Um, but as Black Pod News started to grow and I started to get more feedback from people about how it helps them with what they're doing, and even like some white people's like that helps them with their Black clients and stuff like that. I realized that putting things behind a paywall would do a disservice of what the purpose is, which as a platform, which was to platform Black content creators, Black podcasters, people in the industry, and use it as a vehicle to put them in front of more people and let the people know outside of the internal side of the industry, let them know like these are the people who are working on some of your favorite projects. These are the people who are putting out these different these different projects out here. So I decided to go more with not paywalling it and just doing kind of like a PBS, like what they used to do when I was growing up, like doing like just using call to actions and letting people know like you subscribing helps to contribute to pay for, this show, or to pay for us to hire this writer, or to pay for our contributors to, to submit their content. Um, and I know it's relying on the support of people without, relying, on the kindness of people and what they feel they can, what they want to do. But I think I have to stay true to the purpose of why I started the newsletter in the first place, which was to platform Black voices in the industry. And I can't platform them if I'm putting it behind a paywall.
Mm.
So that's where I'm at with it. So it's like things are looking like, so that the revenue stream is going to look at like maybe advertising on the page, advertising in that capacity, offering advertising space, sponsorships, people paying, through the Substack model, and then figuring out how to monetize it through other types of content like the live stream and a podcast and so forth and so on. So um that's what I'm looking at the chat. Would love if Black Podcasters had a live show like the podcast morning chat show. They seem open to collabs too. Well, you want to come and help? Yeah, the morning chat. Like if it's the one I think you're talking about, me and him talk about all the time. I don't even know how he does it, but these projects take work, and it takes a lot of work on behind the scenes. I would love to do it too, Stephanie. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I would love to do it too, but I also have to prioritize what I'm trying to do as a whole for the community versus should I concentrate all this time trying to run a daily, which is something that's in discussion and on the plan for Black Pod News is a daily show. But that's probably mid to end of 2026 at this point. Unless
I
somebody
think
wants to
once you
step
get
up
uh,
to
and
the
help with it.
daily,
If you
wait, say that
I'm
again?
looking for producers and editors and stuff. If you want to step up, you know, need a team to do that. I can't do that by myself.
I was gonna say, I feel like when you get into daily, then you're stepping into broadcast territory. Like that's a big
Yeah,
commitment.
yeah,
And broadcast, they just do it so well, but it's like such a huge team of people that like make broadcast happen. Like it's a lot of work to make something look simple, and it's a lot of work that goes into a daily show.
yeah.
The hardest thing I did this year, and there were a lot of hard things I did this year, but I will say, hands down, the hardest thing I did was a daily podcast challenge that I learned about from Angela. She did it, and I was like, oh, surely I can do this too, because I have endless ideas, etc. That shit was hard. Okay, like, I can't even express how hard it was to do it. It was so hard. So the idea, to Michael's point, Michael Motley, of doing daily content, just it's exhausting. And I do think having a team to facilitate that is the best way to go about it, or you have a system to do a lot of batched content all at the same time. And a lot of people like to have the creative ideas and the logistics to make it happen. It's just difficult to do. And I, as a audience member, like, I need time to consume people's content, right? So if you're doing daily, that's fine, but I'm not catching it. Like, I'm just
Right.
not even my favorite people. No way. So
Well, I
there's
think that,
that.
for me as a platform, because of the nature of how I set up my platform, it's more feasible for me to either platform somebody who's already doing it, right?
Yes.
That already has the infrastructure and is already doing it, or collaborate with someone who's doing it, and we just figure out the details on the, on the ownership and on, the business side of things at the end of it. But behind the scenes, but to produce it outright, I just don't have the capacity to do that, you know, um, and that's where we're at with it right now. But that's why I need to, I want to get enough money coming in so I can start hiring people, so we can start having those conversations and building in that capacity. But shout out to
One, I
anybody
want
who
to.
does anything daily, because that's you got to be a little bit crazy to do that stuff.
Or you
Well,
gotta have
that's
money on a
Lauren.
team.
I wanted to applaud her though for doing it, but yeah, I just don't have the capacity or the desire to do anything daily besides read books or like go to yoga. So I can't. I do want to talk about how I like the evolution of monetizing my newsletter specific to paywalled content. So initially when I started on Substack or like any of these platforms, my idea was to get paying subscribers, which I've had. I currently still do. But as the project evolved, I realized that there was a very serious, like, for me, um, like, community component that I didn't want to have on the platform. Like, I wanted a newsletter and a membership. I felt though they're very different things. And I'm getting distracted by the chat. And so this year I've gone through a couple of different evolutions where there was content behind the paywall. I was very happy with the content behind the paywall, but there was a moment where I interviewed a really amazing creator. This was the last day I had, like the last month I had a paywall. And I was like, why on earth is this conversation behind the paywall? Like, it should be available to everyone. And so I decided at that moment that the paywall would be open, and just the whole way I viewed um, like a subscription tier for the newsletter completely changed. So now I'm like, just contribute what you want to help sustain the project, and we're good. And so like basically like patrons, but on this platform, they don't really have a way to like have people contribute what they want. What's really interesting though is I just had a founding member tier. Someone just they saw me speaking somewhere else casually. I was not a speaker. I was just in a community conversation, and they went to my platform and paid as a founding member. And that made me really think about people are influenced by what you do in person or in front of them. um, and so really think about how you're getting in front of people who resonate with what you're doing versus trying to convert people to what you're wanting them to do. Because she had never seen me before, had no idea who I was until that random conversation, and literally was like, "Boop, founding members here." And she had no idea that there was a paywall. And I was like, you know what? Like, this was the first thing that I got after opening up the paywall. She's like, "I had no idea. I was just really wanting to speak with you, because on my founding member tier, there's an option to speak with me, like, or that's the, like, you would speak with me. So, um, you can open up your newsletter so that there is no paywall, and there's a lot of different ways to monetize. There's affiliate marketing, there's product sales, there's, like, the list goes on. There's sponsors, there's partnerships. I think that the idea of just a paid tier is very old fashioned in my view. And now I'm going to read through this whole chat because I have no idea what's happening. It's very distracting. What's going on? No way. I do threads. I do like threads. Sabrina's in the news space. Oh, are you in NABJ, by the way? I'm in the Colorado chapter. Do, do, do. I like Flowdesk a lot and have a Flowdesk list, Stephanie. I just can't watch stuff daily. I just can't. I'm proud of you, but there's so many people who are looking at the content, so it works. There's
I
new
want to
people.
touch on something you said, um, Michelle, where you're like, I think paid subscriptions are just too old school. Like they're not keeping up with the times. One, I think that's ironic that you said that on Substack when their whole business model is people
I
getting paid
know.
subscriptions.
I
So here's
know.
hoping they
And
don't
you
kick us off this.
no,
Um,
but you will see that's why I have podcast episodes on my own platform talking about that.
yeah.
You're not wrong.
The other thing is I think a lot of news media and like news rooms, news platforms, whatever you want to call them, like news publications. There you go. Like they're still very dependent on like subscribers. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm not 100% how they do paywall. I know it's not every post is paywalled, but I
Mhm.
think they have so many verticals and writers where they can afford to maybe give away one free for every 5 they put out, right?
Mhm.
Um, but that's still a major facet of like how they make money. Um, and will be probably for a long time, which I think is in part why the Time magazines, like the Texas Tribunes, like they're moving to Beehive because they're like, okay, even in the free, we want an ad or 3 in this like
Mhm.
article. Also, the Times free newsletters are actually terrible because what they try to do is they respectfully, because and I just wanted to see what was up. They have so many verticals. I was like, oh, let me try like 3 of these. But what they try to do is basically get you off email and get you onto the Time magazine like web page. So they're like, they'll give you like maybe a paragraph and they'll be like, read the rest on our website. So even on the free one, they're trying to get you. I am not sure what the play is there. I'm still
Ad
trying to figure
revenue.
it out.
That's ad revenue. Redirecting to the website, they're getting ad revenue for that for sure with all their pay.
Mm.
So I'm wondering if they're in like Raptive, getting like a lot of media related money because they're
Yeah.
getting all that redirected traffic for sure.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It feels weird. It's not a great user experience for the reader, though. So
Mhm.
I don't know how much they're actually converting versus like if they're just slowly turning the tide towards like just having native in email like ads. Um, yeah. So actually, to Stephanie's point, for this holiday season, one of the things I'm trying to do more of is like invest in print media because one, I'm trying to make my own print magazine. So like, where do I study? Other print magazines. And there's one actually. I'm gonna see if I can show you guys. It's like this company out of Richmond, Virginia made it, and it's called The Loyalist. It's pretty cute.
Ooh.
And the packaging is pretty sexy. Like they made a little stamp and they gave
Oh,
me a little card. We love a good handwritten card, right, guys? Um, but yeah, so I'm like, okay. Time magazine had their like Time 100 Creators edition, so I want to get one of those for sure. Um, and what else? I think not the Atlantic, but somebody else did one. Slam magazine, they're having their annual like 30% off sale. And they have a Slam 30 years of Slam, and it's like all their covers and like exclusive features on basketball. It's actually very sexy, if I'm just gonna say it. But a lot of print is going on sale this holiday season. So see if you can get some like print mags. Essence needs your help. But
I feel
yes.
like they have Megan the Stallion on this month's uh, um, uh, magazine. Wait, let's see. Oh, I would totally check that out. So Stephanie's talking about the zine culture in Chicago. I was telling Angela and Corey earlier today about how I went to my local coffee shop and saw a zine. And I was like, I'm so excited. You have zines. And they're like, go to the punk area and sit down and read some. And I was like, that's intense. And there were all these zines there, and it was awesome.
Yeah. One thing Shamika said, the New York Times started charging for their games more. So
That's
there's this
shocking.
for not actually. So the New York Times like lead editor is a woman, surprisingly.
Uh-huh.
Um, and she was talking like she was doing an interview. I think it was like either The Atlantic or Semaphore, where she was talking about like what's the biggest acquisition the New York Times has made? Was it Wordle or was it The Athletic? And
Wordle.
she was like, I won't say, but we're going to be investing more into Wordle, and we think that The Athletic by itself could be a $40 million a year vertical. So I think that
Holy.
she's trying, if they're charging more for the games, it's because she's trying to get Wordle's investment to match that of The Athletic. That's what it is. But yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, a lot of votes for Wordle. Y'all think Wordle is more beneficial than The Athletic? I don't know. Have y'all seen The Athletic? Like how much they put out? Like, I'm also a sucker for their design, so maybe I'm biased.
Um, wait, let's see. Without ads.
Mm.
Huh. I have to admit, I never really play games. I'm not like a games girly. I'm like, I don't know why. I just
Mm-mm.
go hiking or something. So I think that's,
Go to the
I think
mountains.
yeah.
I think Wordle for us is like the daily crossword that like you see people do in the movies all the time. Like it
Mhm.
athletic can't de-stress your life. That is true. That's
Probably
very
adds
true.
more stress. Kind of
Probably.
playoff time, depending on what sport you're watching.
Yeah. So they're trying to gamify like why you're actually there and make you pay for it, which sucks. It
So
really does.
tired of that. I
Yeah.
don't like it.
Mm. No, I don't play games on LinkedIn, friend, but there are some people who do
Well, the
apparently.
longer you stay on the game, the more data they collect from you too. So
I didn't even know there were games on LinkedIn, guys. Like I'm so off that
there's
platform.
games on
I
LinkedIn.
try.
Yeah.
I can't. It's so boring. It's like the most boring platform ever.
Correct.
It's because I
So what
like
they
Threads. Threads is funny, right? If you were on Threads today, it is so messy.
what happened on Threads today?
I that's another I'll text you.
Oh Lord. Okay.
Wait, there's LinkedIn. There's games on LinkedIn
Yeah.
See, none of us even know.
outside of the games people play in your DMs.
There's games in the DMs.
The
Yeah, somebody's
bots.
always,
The
yeah, the
bots.
bots and
I would like to
constant
offer you a
harassment.
job. No, you
Yeah.
don't. You're not even real.
No, I don't even
Uh,
get things for real. So I don't notice.
yeah, I can't with LinkedIn,
You're
guys.
playing a game on LinkedIn. That is wild business,
What?
actually. That is
Are we so
wild.
boring? You know what? I don't know how I feel about that.
They rank the schools. Interesting.
I will do it on paper, Dr. Martin. I'm not doing these digital games. I don't want them to know how my brain works. I want it to be a secret. I'm serious. I'm not
This is
joking.
wild.
Well, I learned something new today.
Hmm?
Couple things. I've learned something new from Dr. Martin's comment about black folk need to play more games
I mean,
because
that
our community
explains why
spend
my
time
grandma
more.
did puzzles.
Yeah.
Every day, grandma would be like, "Do, do, 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 do." I'm like, dang, lady. But I'm really good at freaking Jeopardy, so maybe I should just do that. You'd want me to be your
Oh yeah. How good
contestant.
are you? How good are you?
I'm good.
And
I'm
sounds like a
good.
competition. Sounds like we're talking competition. Jeopardy competition is gonna be happening real
I'm
soon.
competitive with that, all
oh,
right?
What's up?
So, uh,
This is such a Gen X conversation. I'm like, what's
um,
happening?
you know what? We are wildly competitive people. We're
Angela,
also
what is
hurt
mind your
people,
business?
hurt people. Oh,
Lord have mercy. I can't with y'all.
Christina being my competitor. So, question. I don't think we talked about this, which is, or we talk about it occasionally. We do talk about this on and off, which is, um, uh, that's funny in my mind. It's because of what's going on through. I can't.
What's going on, Michelle?
I don't know.
This is the first, everybody.
Sorry. There's something really funny that I thought about that's happening. So I can't make this comment for a second. Just a second. I have to separate the two topics. So, when you think about your newsletter,
I don't know what's going
So,
on, y'all.
Angela, how are you today? Let's move the conversation somewhere else while Michelle gets it together.
Oh man. Today was a decent day, actually. It was a decent day. Um,
today was so funny. Sorry.
well, it says she's
Okay.
gone. I know. We know.
Hey, this is better than all the crying I used to do. Okay, so I'm serious. Flipping around. Um, I've separated the two topics that I was cracking up about. I shouldn't have been on threads like that. So how big of a list do you do you think is like how big does a list need to be to actually like monetize? Like, does it have to be a big list?
I don't think
Like to
so.
actually make money? What are your thoughts? Because I feel like the reason why I'm thinking about this is I feel like there's a lot of pressure to grow the list and some arbitrary like number that maybe people have heard of or thought about. Um or like maybe a creator's like, it should be this number, blah 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 blah. Uh stop it, Shamika. Anywho, and so I want to know, like, when did you notice your list like performing in a trajectory that you were hoping, specific to income? Like, was the number higher than you thought, lower?
Um,
Whatever, guys.
quick question from Stephanie here. She says, any ideas to get folks on your email list that is not making a lead magnet? Uh, yeah. So I want to answer that first, but then go to your question, Michelle.
Okay.
Um, so I think there's a couple of things with growing your email list. One is recommendations, and not just like adding people to your recommendations list, but actually like making an effort to put them in your newsletter and mention them and like send people to their work and vice versa. I think guest posts are really helpful because people who are already subscribed to a newsletter are more likely to subscribe to another. Same thing with podcasting. Um, I would say events, like just straight up asking people, like having a sign up sheet at an event and just saying, hey, like I write this newsletter. Would love to for you to join. Um, okay, Michelle. Um,
I'm good.
yeah,
I'm good. I just, I'm good.
a couple of things. I be in people's DMs. You can do it on Instagram. I do it on LinkedIn personally, where I'll just be like, hey, um, I write this newsletter. If you're open to it, you can check it out here. And sometimes I'll even say, like, would it be okay for me to sign you up? So I'll just straight up ask, like, can I put you on my newsletter? Um, I would say for both newsletters, I'm at about 70 to 80% yes rate. There are some people who would be like, hey, I'm overwhelmed with newsletters. I'm good. I'm like, all right, cool. You can read it without subscribing. If you're into it, they'll be like, all right. Um, and a lot of people too, like they'll get back to you. They'll be like, hey, I've read the last couple issues. This is really good. Like, how's it growing? Yada, yada, yada. So I think there's DMs are probably my favorite way to ask people to get on the newsletter and events in person.
So we all have podcasts. I definitely advertise my newsletter, excuse me, in every single podcast and how to go from the but I haven't referenced what I'm laughing about online because I just dipped in and out of the conversation. You're not going to find you know what I'm laughing about probably, but it's not on my feed. So, in my podcast episodes, I always direct people back to the newsletter. One of the big things that I'm doing moving forward is going to be I have a community that I've been working on building out. I'm on my third freaking software, but this is the easiest. And so what I'm going to be doing is saying, join the community. And in order to get the eh, in order to get to the community, to join the community, which is free, you have to subscribe to my list in order to get that link. So if you want to be a part of the community, you're it's not that. It's actually not that, even though that's a really funny thing that I retweeted. So for me, there are many different ways you can create a compelling reason to opt in. It could be that like I've had tools that I've put behind added as a thank you to give to people, like a mini course. It could be an ebook. It could be, to Angela's point, an event. Uh, Talking about events, we're gonna kind of touch on something that we're cooking up, which is why we had a meeting earlier today about this thing that's coming up in the new year. Um, it could be that you have B-roll, uh, audio content that you only send to your list. I mean, there's the list, like the ways that you can entice people to get on your list are endless. We didn't even talk about discount codes or anything like that. And quite frankly, your opt-in can change, or you can have multiple opt-ins depending on what you're testing out. You could use a text to opt-in, many chat. I mean, the lists are endless. So a lot of different ways. QR codes. Uh, there's just so many ways. But I 100%, I'll be honest, like I'm always trying to direct people from whatever I'm doing back to the to the list. That's a t-shirt, girl.
There it
I need a
is.
t-shirt that says that. So, yes, there are many ways to direct people to get them on your list that aren't necessarily a boring opt-in. I think it's just really, I think you need to try the first idea. Most people think too hard. Try the first idea and then see how it goes. And then and then try a second idea and then see what pops off with your audience. You know, it could be that you have that's why there used to be a lot of creators with like multiple opt-ins, and then they would like review the data and get rid of the extras and then use the top 3 performing opt-ins. Do that. Quizzes actually do very well. I am going to be adding a quiz to my process, and I figured out a tool. I can't remember the name, but there's a tool. You know what? Let me get my laptop because um, I can figure that out while you guys are chatting, but there's a tool that I heard about on a podcast all about setting up a quiz and using that to get people to opt in. Um,
So you run a quiz, and then at the end of it, they opt in.
in order to get the quiz, you have to opt in. So this isn't the tool I'm using, but I have used it before. There's let's see. The one that the new one that I want to use is, I can't believe I didn't set this aside. But there's let me see if I can figure this out because that's going to bug me. So yeah, you would design a quiz. So for example, for Black Podcasters Association, you could do a quiz on the different types of podcasters. And it could be like a funny end result. Like there's the last minute podcaster. Like what type of podcaster are you? And you would take the quiz and then it would diagnose who you are. uh, Stephanie. There you go. Quizzes can be annoying to build out.
I vibe coded
Um,
mine. So yeah.
you and that vibe coding.
It worked, didn't it?
I
Anyways.
like it. That's why I'm just teasing you. When I figure out what the product is, I'll attach it to our replay. I
You're
just can't
probably
think of
talking
it
about
right now.
Score. Um,
What?
you're probably talking about Score.
No.
The woman who
Well,
runs the Generalist. Or it's like,
yes, I am. That
yeah,
was who I was
that's
listening
what she
to.
uses.
Okay.
That can be a
Score
workshop.
app.
What teach us how to vibe code?
I
Oh, I
mean,
can.
you should.
Corey, what is that face?
So, Dr. Pratt,
I
I
mean, if you feel
have
like getting
a
hacked, yeah.
oh my God. So I have a community
Haven't been
that
hacked
I
yet, but
have
okay.
pulled out of the newsletter. So I will be sharing more like literally next week. So it's called the Creator Income Collective. I have finally, for the love of God, figured out like how I'm going to deliver it. So do keep an eye out because literally I'm going to finalize it and get that out this week. So what show?
Growth in Reverse. It's a show by Chanel Basilio. She writes a newsletter for people.
I listen to it every week. I like it. But they're funny because the one guy's Canadian, right? The
Hmm.
Canadian guy. Yeah.
I can't listen to it every week. I think it's okay. And this is again a nitpicky thing. Like I think if Corey listened to it, he would agree with me. But
Mm.
I feel like they need to edit that fucking show. Like it pisses me off. Like I was not a pretentious audio listener until maybe like I started hitting the road a lot. So I listened to a lot of podcasts and I'm like, this could be 30% shorter. Y'all needed to edit this. This doesn't sound as good as you think when you're rambling for like 30. I don't care about your dog that you saw. I care about this, what this is about. Cut it out or put it
Didn't
in
they
a
just
blooper
come out with
reel.
a? Wasn't there just a new report about that? That came out, some new data came out about how a lot of podcast listeners were complaining. I gotta find it. I know. I don't know if it was
We need to
Sounds
complain more
Profitable or somebody
because they never listen.
put out a
Okay?
report
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
We need to complain more. I didn't complain about
I
2
hate long
podcasts in the last
intros.
week with y'all. Score app is the one
Or
that
app.
the
You
generalists
know,
use.
no knock on
That's
him, but
fine.
I was listening to Trapital today. You know that
Oh yeah.
podcast,
Also needs to be
and
edited.
yeah, it is edited. That's the crazy part. But
Dang. Okay.
the intro for the
Another
episode I
request
was
for
listening to
Notion.
today was 3 minutes.
Oh no, that's too much. That's too much.
And the only reason why I realized it was because I was doing something and I was like, hold on, like he hasn't even started yet. Yes, another Notion
We
request.
told
But
you.
anyway,
I know. I know. I'm gonna get my life together.
We only have so much time though, so it's hard.
Yeah. And it's just like people are telling me like, how do I organize my Notion? I need y'all to be
That's
specific. There's so much you can
that's
do with a
literally the
Notion.
product, girl. That's the product. That it's not as detailed as where you're at. She needs to just get started. You're on PhD. She's like, get me through elementary school. So like oh my God. Think it too deep. I'm
Michael
serious.
said 3 Earth minutes. Listen, nothing, nothing.
I mean, time is relative, so
Oh, okay. Stephanie's like,
Don't make
yes,
me
I got
laugh
you.
more. Oh God.
Yeah, there's a lot of podcasts that could be like 20 to 30% shorter, and I need them to know which is which, and they need to get it together.
Oh,
Okay. Stephanie said I'm a PhD Notion user. Okay, see, thank you for
okay,
clarifying.
okay. Organizer. Organize. Oh my Lord.
Hmm.
what was the question
Yes.
again, Michelle?
What?
What was the question you had?
I don't even know because I'm cracking myself up, guys. Um, I don't know. What happened? What just happened?
Dr. Martin, did you use Notion?
That's right, Lauren.
We know
Oh,
then. Monetizing, what's the number? Yes, sorry, we got way off
Yeah,
topic.
we got
oh,
distracted.
sorry, guys.
Like, ooh,
Sorry.
butterfly.
Yeah. So
Squirrel.
I can okay. Good to know, Dr. Martin. I'm also a paid user, but monetizing. For me, I started my crowd fund when I had less than 500 subscribers, and we were
Mm,
able to like reach our goal. So I think it depends on what it is you're trying to make, like how you're trying to make money. I think it depends on um if you're a freelancer versus an online creator. Um, I would say if I was strictly an online creator and I wasn't crowdfunding, I was trying to make money off of like my audience size, brand deals, sponsorship ads. Those are all things that just work better at scale because brands are trying to maximize reach, advertisers are trying to maximize reach. So, on the grand scheme of things, if you're looking to monetize that way, I would say you probably need at least 1,000 because that's just the tip of the barrel, for being honest, to getting attention from advertisers and brands for brand deals. Unless you have a very hyper niche and like high income audience. So for example, there's this guy, Eli Weiss, who wrote the customer retention playbook or something. And he was able
mm,
to get like 4 and 5 figure brand deals less than 2,000 because people who work in customer retention are typically uh, C-suite people at e-commerce brands. So they're making a lot of money. That's a high net worth audience to get in front of. So it didn't matter that his wasn't like super big. But if you're just writing more general, like we are, like Black podcasters, that's a wide swath of people. Creative entrepreneurs is a
mm,
wide swath of people. Creators, online creators who are trying to get paid, that's a wide swath of people. That's not as niche. So you're going to need a lot more scale. And then of course with products, it depends on your audience affinity. If you have people that just rock with you and that really want to learn from you specifically, and you make something that they specifically want, yeah, absolutely, that could rock. But even then, I would say, you really do need to be looking at the 500 to 1,000. Like, what's it worth to try to monetize your newsletter before you've made it a good enough experience for people to subscribe? That's always a kind of teeter you want to think about. And that's something I think about for Melanin MVP. There are no ads in Melanin MVP, and there won't be until I hit 1,000 subscribers on that one. Because I think it's more important to give people a really, really great experience that they like rave about and want to tell other people about before I start pumping them with ads. Um, I'm open to your thoughts, Michelle. Looks like you have something to say.
She trying
Um,
not to laugh.
so no, no, no. This is what I'm serious now. Sorry, I cracked myself up about something, and it just took a long time to get over that. Um, so I had a really interesting experience with this most recent version of a newsletter that I have, that I'm growing and working on. So creators getting paid really performed well at about 650, 700 subscribers, where I was doing certain things with that list, like hosting a workshop, stuff like that, and it did great. I also had a really well-paying, and that's like the first 12 months of being on Substack actually. I reached out for brand partnerships. Like I just did things with the newsletter. And I feel like it performed really well. I almost overperformed, given like where I think it should have been doing, like how it should have been behaving at that time. Uh, in retrospect, the reason why it performed as well as it did was because the people who were on the list at that time were really warmed up to me. They knew me. That trust variable was really high. And so they were very comfortable to make purchases from me when I did things like host a webinar, etc. What I would say a lot of people need to be really thoughtful about, specific to being on any platform that does recommendations. I don't care what platform it is. As soon as someone new is on your list, and you guys are like dating. They have to know you, that you have to put a lot of effort in to getting them to know you before that trust, know, like, and trust is at a point where they would even purchase from you. And quite frankly, in 2025 and beyond, I think that know, like, and trust equation is much more difficult. Like, you have to spend a lot more time focusing on getting people to know you and talk to you. I think that my list performs better than it should have, because I've spent a lot of time getting to know the people who are actually on my list. Like, I've seen people, I've talked to, I've seen Stephanie as Angela has in Chicago. You know, like, we've met different people who are on the list. We've had meetings with people. We hang out if they come to Denver. Like, there are people in Denver that are on my list that I didn't even know, and then we meet, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm on your list." So, like, really getting to know people, because they're just it just is taking no like, it's just taking a lot more time for people to get to know you, and 7 hours of content, what's that mean in time in real life, you know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, like, what's that mean exactly? Um, I'm not saying Google is wrong, I'm just saying, like, how did, like, 7 hours over how many months or years or so, um, I feel like it just takes a lot more time for people um to trust you. I think it's a trust economy conversation.
I I I have a
You
different
know?
opinion. I
Mhm.
think you should. I think it's a mistake to put a number on when you're going to monetize. Um,
Oh, no, I agree with that. I
I
agree with
think
that.
and I was listening to what you were saying, and I think that I personally think that might be a mistake for you, only because as you're building this relationship with your audience, you're training them to accept certain things from you, and then when you
But I'm
try to
selling
say
to them now. I'm
no, no,
selling
I'm
to
talking
them.
about what Angela said about how she's saying when she reaches a certain point, that's when
Oh,
she's going to
okay.
start. The
Sorry, I
problem with
misunderstood.
that is the problem with that is you have people like me that'll be like, okay, I like this newsletter, but then the minute you turn around and start adding a component like ads or whatever, it's like, well, I'm out, right? Because I
No.
got used to the no, hold on, I got used to the experience that you provided for me this whole time, and now it may not it may not be like that on your side, but to the reader, it's like, oh, she's now moving over into this direction, and they liked you because you weren't in that direction. But I think there's a way you can find a balance between doing what you want to do, Angela, and the monetization part. Sometimes I think, and this is not about you, Angela, anymore. Is I think sometimes when people are thinking about monetizing, when they say, okay, I'm gonna reach this point, is they just abruptly do it.
Mhm.
They don't lead up to it. They don't let them, they don't let the audience know, hey, this the transparency part I think is removed. And for some people who are like diehard supporters because they may feel that, I've learned in doing what I'm doing that people make up their own stories in their head about who you are, what you do, and why you're doing it, despite the fact that you may be blatantly telling them to their face why you're doing it, right? Um, so there's that part where you might shun off a good percentage of that hardcore audience or that tribe that you created by not saying, "Hey, I plan on monetizing at some point." You get what I'm saying? So, um, it's a tricky role for people. I personally think you should already set the premise that you're gonna be monetizing, whether you actually do it or not. It's, "Hey, you know, I might have some ads, down the road, I might have some ad space. Down the road, there might be some ads because this needs to be supported." Something that I don't know how to put the language because you know me,
Oh,
I'm
can I
pretty
jump in
much
here for a second?
straight. Hold on, hold on, hold on.
Okay, sorry. I just asked. I did ask. Thank you. Please continue.
But because I think, yeah, you could go. Okay.
Oh,
Oops,
she's right.
my bad.
You don't
I
feel
lost my
bad.
train of thought. I lost my
Oh,
train of thought, and I know it's never going to come back until like 4 o'clock in the morning. So
oh,
don't
Okay.
even try.
So there's two things here. First, I feel like you took it as I said, like once I hit 1,000, I'm just gonna magically start putting in ads. When I moved to Beehive for Please Hustle Responsibly, I did tell people like, hey, there's gonna be more ads here. Like, and I reminded them when I took off paid subscriptions, I was like, hey, I'm getting rid of paid subscriptions. So that just means you're gonna see more ads because I gotta make up that income somewhere.
Right.
I didn't
I think
see a
that's fair.
follow.
Yeah.
And for Melanin MVP, there's a couple of strategies. Like I said, I'm not going to put in ads. I didn't say I was going to monetize. Like we
Mm.
probably are going to do some merch. We're probably going to do a print zine. I hear y'all. I hear y'all. We're going to do some other things. Oh, y'all be telling it. Yeah, I think there's um and I don't think it's like we have to tell them. I think it's more like if you want to set expectations for what people
Mhm.
can expect, then it's important to tell them like, here's what's about to happen. And here's what it means when you do or do not click something or check something out. And here's my philosophy on ads. I'm always going to try to vet who I put in front of you guys. I'm only going to try to put relevant ads in front of you guys. I'm always like, again, gonna try to do my due diligence to make sure that any ad partners, brand partners we bring on are complementary to what we're talking about here and what we're trying to build. So I think there's something to it. I've seen a couple people, and this is something I may definitely do for Melanin and VP is at the top of it be like, hey, I'm thinking about reserving this for ad space. Is this something you would be interested in buying ad space for? I got Strava, somebody from Wasserman, and somebody from ESPN on the Melanin MVP newsletter list. Like, those are huge companies that I think would love to advertise in front of our audience. So trying to tease that and get a list of people because Beehive allows for segmentation when people click things. Get a list of people who have clicked, yeah, I'd be interested in advertising here. And so when the time is right, reaching out to them and being like, hey, this is our audience, this is what I know about them. Would you be interested in here's our packages? Would you be interested in advertising us or getting on a call with us and discussing this? Um, so I think that's something we're gonna look at. But again, for me right now, like Please Hustle Responsibly takes up a lot of my time. It gets the most consistency out of me, which I wish that Melanin and VP got more consistency out of me, but we're not gonna go there. Um, and so it's also a matter of me wanting to feel like I'm delivering on a good product, no matter whether it's free or ad supported or merch supported or something like that. So there's layers to it that I was not fully transparent about. But yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Well,
Um, do you guys affiliate market in your newsletters? I mean, I do, but I don't know if you guys do.
I
I have
do.
some. Yeah, I do.
Can I tell you the craziest thing? So I had like a whole template with like my affiliate links in one of them. That's like it was like a mid read like section. Um, and I didn't get like a lot of hits on it. I was like, why is that? I saw someone else do this. I put all my affiliate links in my footer. And I like separated it out like, hey, if you're thinking about doing a podcast, try Riverside for this,
Uh,
Descript for this, all that. It converts way better when it's just in the
oh,
footer. And I'm like, how,
do tell.
so y'all didn't make it to the mid read, but y'all made it to the footer and y'all be clicking stuff? Where's the technology behind this? I don't know,
I
but
totally
maybe
want to
people
do
feel like
this.
it's less of an ask. I don't know. I don't know why, but that just for anybody who's thinking about it, try it in the footer. People may click more. I think that's so weird, but the footer is better. Who made this? Did you make this, Dr. Martin? Did you make this?
All right, Dr.
You know,
Anyway.
Martin.
that's a good thing. I thought I was tripping the other day when I was building something with I'm working on a website landing page, and I was looking up where the contact. I remember the contact used to be in the upper navigation. They're saying that people are used to having it in the footer. That's the best place to put the link. And I was like, man, I'm still stuck in 2001 with this stuff. Like, so I guess something about the footer, people just automatically just scroll down the page real fast, and because
Oh,
the footer stops, maybe that's why. I don't know. That's
huh.
See, I'm with Michael. It makes sense, but it doesn't. It really don't, but I'm with y'all. Whatever y'all say. Feels better if
now.
y'all work
Note
Now
to
together.
tomorrow,
self.
I'm gonna wake up in the morning doing a deep dive on like why is the footer so important, for this type of content.
Okay.
Uh, I do want to share something that Liz Wilcox randomly said in a podcast episode that I was listening to, and she was talking about like hyperlinks that you share, like links that you share in your newsletter or email. She's like, the link needs to be bigger. Like the section of content that you're linking to should not be like click on the link here, and here is the only thing that's linked. It should be the whole click on the link here. Like the bigger the link, the better because people are viewing these links in your newsletters or email lists uh, on their phone, so it's easier for people to see. And I'm like, that so makes sense. Oh my god! So if you notice that my links have gotten bigger, that is why. Just saying.
I think they're also playing the scrolling game where your finger hits the content, automatically hits the link. I think that's really what it is, because that's somebody who went to school for web design and stuff. That is a big no-no. Um, so I think they're playing the game of, the thing, if the link is taken up, it's a big link, you're going to automatically hit it because you're scrolling either with especially if you're left-handed, you're definitely going to hit that link.
But like I'm nearsighted, I'm not seeing these itty bitty links really, to be honest, with an astigmatism. So I'm like, okay, I will. The bigger the link,
I
the
mean,
better for me.
accessibility, I get that part,
Yeah.
but it's probably a
Yes,
little bit more
Michael.
nefarious than, hey, we should be more accessible.
um, do we want to briefly
Wait, I thought
mention
Michael was
what?
taking notes. See, that's what he said when he first came in the room. He's going to be taking notes.
um, yes, Michael. Um, Stephanie, tell the truth. Do we want to very quickly share what we've been working on? So today, do we, or do we want to wait till next week?
Let's wait till
I
next
know
week.
Angela's
It's
tired.
9:30. Yeah, sorry.
You know me,
Okay,
I'm like,
okay,
no
fair
better
enough.
time than now, but okay.
No,
But
but
we
you know
can
what? We
we
could.
can't send them the link though yet. So that's why I say wait.
Fair
Let's
enough.
wait until we
Okay,
have the link ready to share.
okay. We have something coming. So we're really excited to tell you about it.
But not at 9:30 on a Thursday. Your girl is tired.
Hey,
We got
7:36 my time. Okay. It's me just perking up. Actually, you guys, I'm reading the best romance novel. It's so good. So I'm gonna get back to that. Um, that's right, Lauren. I'm cracking myself up again. Um,
Actually, Dr. Martin,
so
Thursday's not our normal time, so
that
since the
makes
yeah,
it
whole
but
Earth
seven
Day.
whole
Lauren,
Earth days. Y'all killing me with this one.
Dr. Martin, we usually meet on Tuesdays.
Have to think
Sorry.
about it. Listen, Lauren said this is all late. Listen, we're trying our
Whatever,
best.
Stephanie.
Oh man.
We met like for 2 hours today, okay?
A
Oh,
podcast full of
Oh my
black people.
gosh, Laura. Really, Laura?
oh, you
She
know
was selfish.
Did she do CPT at time? She CPT us?
what?
No,
That's harsh.
sorry, friend. So sorry.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna wrap it up now. So I'm still laughing. Uh, Angela, go because she needs to eat her kava.
Yeah, I got like halfway
Go.
through it. But yeah. I'm Angela. All right. Please hustle responsibly and Melanin MVP. One of them is for creators and entrepreneurs who want to learn, connect, and grow in our community. So please check that out if that's for you. Yes, we do have a print magazine coming. Yes, we do have a course. Yes, we're gonna make something on Notion at some point. Just give me time, please.
Yes.
Melanin MVP is for women of color, everyday athletes, and sports fans. If you're not a woman of color, but you like learning about women of color everyday athletes and women of color professional athletes, this is a place for you. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. I know I'm a late addition, but I appreciate you guys hanging out with you, all 56 of you, at a smooth 9:38 Eastern Time. Yeah.
7:38 Mountain Time. Hey, everybody. My name is Michelle Jackson. When I'm not laughing hard, I'm working on creators getting. Sorry. I'm cracking myself up today, but that's good. I'm not crying today. Anyway, I'm the founder of Creators Getting Paid. I speak to, interview, and am in community with Black and Brown content creators. And I try to find out how they make money. Like, I basically, that's what I'm asking. How are you making money? What are you doing? And I use those conversations to help inspire you, inspire the people that I'm speaking with and am in community with. When I'm not geeking out about that, I do have a couple other projects, but I'm going to share one, which is Square State, Colorado. So it's Square, Colorado Square. So that's why it's called that. If you are coming to Colorado, definitely check that out, squarestatesco.com. Great.
I mean, on the map it looks more rectangular, but okay.
Square State.
But I want to see the math on that. But my name is Corey Combs. I'm the founder of the Black Podcasters Association, the online community for Black podcasters and professionals in the industry. It's a wonderful community. If you're interested in learning, you can go to the blackpodcastersassociation.com. Sometimes it's like a tongue twister for me, but
I think we're
uh
tired.
no, I say it so much throughout the day. It's just like I'm probably burnt out from it. But I'm also the founder of Black Pod News, blkpodnews.com, a newsletter here on Substack, and we concentrate on the Black side of the podcasting industry and platforming Black voices and Black concerns and news and stuff like that in the industry. So feel free to come check us out, subscribe. If you want to be a part of the cool kids class, you definitely should be a subscriber. If not, sorry to hear that. But yeah, that's it.
So I think we're tired now.
I did I know I do that. I did that specifically for Michael because when I'm having conversations with people, that's what I tell them. Like, yo, why are you not a part of the cool kids club? Like, you should be signed up.
I'm
You
a part
know,
of it.
like right, exactly. See?
Just saying.
The
Yo,
who's who is subscribed to my list.
yo, I heard somebody say that Corey's going to hit 5,000 by the end of the month. Isn't that right?
Uh-oh.
I don't know about the end of the month, but I'm getting closer. I probably
Mhm.
by the end of December, we're definitely by the new year we're gonna be at 5,000.
Okay. I was trying
I
to
mean,
make a point.
I might do
Uh,
a big push towards the end of the year to get it, but
Okay.
Tell us how
Well,
we can support you.
I'm actually the only millennial, I think. I think they're both
She's the
Gen
only
X,
millennial.
believe it or not.
I don't know where I fall. I stopped caring about that.
I'm Gen X, but
Seems like the
my love
numbers
of
keep
Miami
moving.
Vice would be the tell on that. So
That's crazy. All right. You just gotta get 51 people about Austin. That's my girlfriend. You got it, Stephanie.
let
I
us
believe
know
Did we
how we
just
can
start a
support you.
challenge? We're talking
Let's
challenge?
do this. On that note, we're gonna go now because we're losing our minds. Lauren.
I see y'all Tuesday, right? Tuesday?
We have an announcement, everybody. A really big announcement. So I'm very excited about it. All right.
All right. Have a
Thank
good
you,
night, everyone.
Sabrina. Thank you, everybody. Bye.